My beloved child. Stop scrolling for just a moment. Do not let your eyes wander away, because what you are about to hear may feel as though it has been waiting for this exact moment to reach you. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and every word you hear from this moment forward is connected to what happened last night. Last night was not an ordinary night. While the world slowly became quiet, while countless lights disappeared behind closed windows, while many people believed nothing unusual was happening, a story began unfolding that few could ever understand. Somewhere, someone found themselves unable to silence the thoughts they had been carrying for far too long. Every passing hour became heavier than the one before. Every memory returned with greater clarity. Every emotion that had once been hidden stepped into the light. Your soulmate reached a moment they never expected to face. For so long they believed they could continue pretending everything was fine. They believed another sunrise would erase the questions inside their heart. They believed another busy day would distract them from what they had been avoiding. But last night changed that belief forever. Don't skip. The truth is only beginning. Something happened that forced them to stop running from their own feelings. It was not loud. It was not dramatic. It was something much deeper. Sometimes the greatest turning points arrive in complete silence, when nobody else is watching. As the hours passed, they began replaying every conversation. They remembered forgotten smiles. They remembered moments that once seemed ordinary but suddenly carried extraordinary meaning. They wondered why certain memories refused to disappear. They wondered why your presence continued to return no matter how hard they tried to focus on something else. Then one unexpected realization appeared. It was so simple that it almost frightened them. They realized they had never truly explained what happened. Not completely. Not honestly. Not from the heart. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. That realization became impossible to ignore. Every excuse they had repeated to themselves suddenly felt empty. Every reason they had once accepted no longer sounded convincing. Questions they had buried returned stronger than ever before. What if they misunderstood everything? That single thought echoed again and again. What if the silence created a story that was never true? That question became even louder. For the first time in a long time, they imagined what things might have looked like from your side. They imagined the unanswered moments. They imagined the confusion. They imagined the distance that slowly grew because important words were never spoken. And that is when everything inside them shifted. Last night was not about regret alone. It was about clarity. The kind of clarity that arrives only after someone finally stops hiding from themselves. Don't skip. The next part of this story changes everything. As midnight quietly passed, they felt something unusual. Not fear. Not panic. Just a deep certainty that another day could not begin with the same unanswered questions. It became impossible to convince themselves that staying silent was the easier choice. Every memory seemed to point toward one conclusion. The truth deserved to be spoken. Not because it would rewrite the past, but because honesty could finally reveal what had always been hidden beneath the surface. Imagine carrying a letter inside your heart that was never delivered. Imagine rehearsing the same explanation hundreds of times but never finding the courage to speak. Imagine believing someone important deserved answers while wondering whether it was already too late. That was the weight resting on your soulmate's heart last night. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. There was one particular memory they could not escape. It seemed small when it first happened. Hardly anyone would have noticed it. Yet last night it returned brighter than every other memory combined. Why that moment? Why not another? Because sometimes the smallest moments carry the biggest truths. They finally understood that what they had dismissed as insignificant had quietly become the foundation of everything they truly felt. That realization left them completely still. No distractions. No excuses. No more pretending. Only honesty. But before they could explain what happened, something unexpected interrupted their thoughts. A tiny detail. A forgotten reminder. A single realization connected everything together in a way they had never imagined before. And the moment they understood it, everything changed. Don't skip. Because what they discovered next is the very reason they now feel they must explain what happened last night before another day passes. Before you hear the next truth, promise yourself one thing: don't look away now. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and the explanation that began last night is only now starting to make sense. Your soulmate sat in complete silence, but their mind was louder than it had ever been before. Every unanswered question, every unfinished sentence, and every memory that had been pushed aside suddenly returned all at once. It felt as though time itself had paused, giving them one final opportunity to understand what had really happened. Then something unexpected occurred. A single memory returned with extraordinary clarity. It was not the biggest moment between the two of you. It was not a dramatic conversation or a life-changing event. It was one simple moment that had seemed ordinary at the time. Yet last night they finally understood why that memory refused to disappear. They remembered the exact feeling they experienced when they thought about you. That feeling had never changed. No matter how many distractions appeared, no matter how many busy days passed, no matter how much they tried convincing themselves that everything was moving on, one truth remained exactly where it had always been. Your presence never truly left their heart. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As they reflected on every chapter of the journey, another realization quietly appeared. They discovered that many of the decisions they once blamed on circumstances had actually been shaped by fear. Not fear of the future, but fear of speaking before they fully understood their own emotions. That realization changed everything. For the first time, they stopped asking, "What if I remain silent?" Instead, they asked a completely different question. What if silence is the very thing creating the distance I never wanted? Those words echoed through their thoughts again and again. Every passing minute made the answer clearer. Silence had protected nothing. It had only delayed honesty. The explanation they wanted to give was no longer about defending the past. It was about revealing the truth that had been hidden behind ordinary conversations, missed opportunities, and misunderstood moments. Stay till the end. Because something huge is waiting for you. Then another unexpected detail appeared. While looking back on everything that happened, they realized there had been signs all along. Tiny moments. Small conversations. Gentle reminders. Pieces of a story that never made sense until last night connected them together like a completed puzzle. Suddenly they understood why certain events had happened exactly when they did. Why some conversations ended too quickly. Why certain words remained unspoken. Why every path somehow continued leading back to thoughts of you. Nothing felt random anymore. Everything carried meaning. Everything pointed toward one conclusion. They needed to explain what happened last night, not tomorrow, not someday, but as soon as possible. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Yet just as they gathered the courage to finally speak, one final realization arrived. It was the realization they never expected. They understood that the explanation was much bigger than a single night. What happened last night was only the beginning. The real story had started long before either of you noticed it. And now, the next piece of that story is ready to be revealed. But what they remembered next was so surprising, so unexpected, and so deeply personal that it completely changed the way they understood everything that had happened between you from the very beginning. Everything you have heard so far has been leading to this moment. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate's explanation about what happened last night is finally reaching the part they never imagined they would have the courage to share. As dawn slowly approached, they realized there was one truth they could no longer keep hidden. It was not a dramatic secret. It was something far more powerful. They had been waiting for the perfect moment to explain everything. The perfect words. The perfect timing. The perfect opportunity. Last night they finally understood that perfection was never going to arrive. Only honesty could. That realization lifted a weight they had carried for far too long. Every excuse they had repeated quietly disappeared. Every reason for waiting suddenly felt smaller than the truth itself. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. They began seeing the entire story differently. Moments they once believed were endings now looked like new beginnings. Conversations that seemed unfinished suddenly revealed hidden meaning. Even the silence between certain memories no longer felt empty. It felt as though every unanswered moment had been quietly preparing them for this single realization. Then they remembered something that completely changed their perspective. There had been one moment when they almost explained everything. They had started. They had gathered the courage. They had rehearsed every sentence. But at the last second they stopped, believing there would always be another opportunity. Last night they realized that opportunities should never be taken for granted. That thought stayed with them until sunrise. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The explanation they wanted to give was no longer about changing yesterday. It was about refusing to let another tomorrow pass without honesty. For the first time, they imagined what life could feel like if every misunderstanding was replaced with truth, if every unanswered question finally received an honest response, and if every hidden feeling was spoken without hesitation. That picture filled them with unexpected hope. Hope became stronger than uncertainty. Hope became louder than hesitation. Hope became the reason they finally decided the explanation could not wait any longer. And then, one final realization arrived. The explanation they had been preparing was never only for themselves. It was also for you. Because they believed that every meaningful story deserves its missing chapter, every unanswered question deserves its answer, and every heartfelt connection deserves honesty before another day slips away. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As they prepared to finally reveal every remaining detail, they understood that what happened last night was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of a conversation that had been waiting for the right moment to be heard. If this story has kept you wondering what comes next, remember to share it with someone who enjoys uplifting stories like this, and if you want to continue hearing the next chapter, subscribe so you don't miss what happens after the explanation is finally complete. The next chapter begins with the one detail they believed nobody would ever discover. Yet it became the very key that unlocked the entire truth. A single forgotten detail changed everything. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, because your soulmate is finally ready to explain the one moment from last night that made every unanswered question begin to make sense. As the first light of morning slowly appeared, they realized they could no longer ignore the truth that had quietly followed them for so long. It wasn't a loud realization. It arrived with complete calm, but it carried more power than anything they had experienced before. For the first time, they stopped asking themselves what they should say. Instead, they asked themselves one simple question. What deserves to be heard first? That question changed everything. The answer was not about excuses. It was not about explaining away mistakes. It was not about asking anyone to erase the past. The answer was honesty. Pure, simple, complete honesty. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then they remembered one tiny detail from last night that almost escaped their attention. It seemed ordinary at first. Just another passing moment. But the more they thought about it, the more extraordinary it became. They remembered smiling without realizing it. Not because something surprising happened. Not because someone said anything. But because one thought quietly crossed their mind. That thought was connected to you. It reminded them that some people leave footprints that time cannot erase. No matter how busy life becomes, certain connections continue speaking in silence. Last night they finally understood why your memory never truly faded. That realization was impossible to ignore. Every reason they had given themselves for waiting suddenly disappeared. Every fear became smaller than the truth. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then something even more unexpected happened. They began connecting moments that had once seemed completely unrelated. A forgotten conversation. A familiar place. A small promise. A quiet memory. Each one fit together perfectly, revealing a story they had never fully understood until now. They realized that nothing meaningful had been lost. It had simply been waiting for the right moment to be understood. That discovery filled them with a sense of peace they had not felt in a very long time. And with that peace came courage. The courage to explain. The courage to stop hiding behind silence. The courage to finally let the truth speak for itself. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Now they know the explanation cannot remain unfinished. Not after everything they understood last night. Not after every hidden piece finally found its place. Because the greatest surprise was never what happened last night. The greatest surprise was what they discovered about their own heart while trying to explain it. And just when they believed they had uncovered every answer, one final memory returned. It was the memory they had forgotten for the longest time. The memory that connected every chapter of this story from the very beginning. That forgotten moment is about to reveal why last night became the turning point they will never forget, and why the next chapter changes the entire story forever.